From that day, we shared cafe lattes. Ooh, cafe lattes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of Having a Lovely Chat. Tonight's guest, I never met the man before, but I reached out to him, is Ciarán Brennan. How are you, Ciarán?
How are you? How are things with you tonight?
Good. He launched a forest school called Stonehouse
Forest School,
Forest School in Dunleer. So I seen the article went up on Draw to Life, and then I was like really excited to get you in. So for everyone, the listeners, give us a little bit of a brief about yourself, I suppose.
Okay, well, look, thanks very much for the invitation. It's
You're
great to be on
welcome,
the podcast, Dahi. Really appreciate it, and hello to all the listeners to the podcast. I suppose a bit about myself. I suppose at the moment I work for the Irish Environmental Network. So I'm a communications manager or head of communications or whatever my job title is this week, and and whatever. So I work there. I am a journalist by background.
Okay.
Journalist by trade, and whatever. But I moved out of journalism back around 2008, and I started working in the communication section of the house at the Oireachtas in the Dáil and in Leinster House. So that's where I started, and that's where I got into kind of, I suppose, communications PR rather than pure journalism and whatever. So yeah, I was there for about 10 years, spent a little bit of time down in the HSE, and left that to go to. I always had a big interest in environmentalism and in environmental life. I a very, very close connection to nature. And I was volunteering with the Wildlife Rehabilitation Ireland with the hospital they had in Havin, and whatever, so rescuing animals and caring for them. And and I really wanted to kind of get more into that side of things. So a job came up as a communications officer with the Irish Environmental Network, and I applied for the job and I got it, and it was kind of a job. It was kind of a job I really wanted. It was one of those times in life when the stars aligned.
A bit of synchronicity.
Whatever, So and that was helped by the fact that I had been volunteering with Wildlife Rehabilitation Ireland and had built up an environmental kind of background. I'd done some writing for the Thinkorswim climate blog, so as I say, the stars aligned. Got the job there nearly 3 years now, and that's my background. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you went from that. So how did the forest? First of all, right?
Yeah.
What is a forest school?
What is a forest school? Yeah, a forest school. It actually is not a school as we know it.
Because a few people are. It's like I was like, what is it? I was like, I'm going to find out.
Yeah. And people have said is when they tell their children about it, they kind of go, "Oh, you want me to go to school on a Saturday?"
Right. Yeah. Don't want that.
It's not like that. Forest school is where you basically, when you bring children primarily, but like I've run courses for adults
as well,
and I'm trying to run one for teenagers as well. So like it is, but where you bring, I suppose, you bring kids. So it's primarily kids into a forest setting, right? Okay. And there's kind of principles involved where it's kind of in a forest setting. It's done by a practitioner. Like I've trained in forest school leadership. Okay. And it's kind of, there's a holistic development. So nice. It's not like it is kind of slightly aligned to curricula that you'd have in school in that children use their brains when they're doing stuff. They you'd have them building dens, you'd have them working on knots. So it kind of develops them holistically and kind of a resilience, and there's a kind of community feel about it as well because we're all in it together. Nice. And so what it does is it kind of fosters that kind of other side of children that sometimes they
sitting in the classroom's not going to get it as such.
And that's not a criticism of the school. That's the way schools are. They have huge numbers of kids to get through, sure. And they have a set curriculum to do, and they've a tough job to do. Teachers in whatever.
Wouldn't be for me now.
It is a very tough job, and they have to bring a whole cohort of children right through from one end of the year to the other. So it's more that it kind of develops it on the other side and it connects them. There's a whole nature connection involved in it as well, like in terms of you're out, you're recognizing plants, and you're recognizing animals, and you're recognizing animal trails, and you know, the marks the animals leave behind, and you learn about the kind of I suppose the biodiversity in your area, or in the area of where I live. And you also learn about our, I suppose, historical connection to nature. I mean, a lot of the things I mention, if you look at a lot of our place names, are very much based on nature, and certainly like things like trees and stuff like that. I mean, the Irish for oak is Dira, which is Derry, as it's called. And Derry, if you have a look at the emblems they have when the GA team, it's an oak leaf.
Oh, okay, right.
So Derry was renowned for its oak forests, and that's why it became known as Derry. Say Newry is called in Askelga, it's called Onure, which is the yew.
The yew tree.
Yew tree.
Yeah.
And not far from here, you have Tinure.
Yes.
Which is
that's near where I'm from. I'm from Honest.
Which is Chionior.
Okay.
Which is House of the Yew Tree.
Oh.
So you've got this whole connection with forest, with nature, with plants, whatever, back into our kind of our history, our folklore, our culture and whatever. So it's reconnecting people with that. We always had a very good, huge connection with nature in Ireland. If you look back, remember the old kinds used to have. There used to be always an animal on it, like a bird or a fish or a hare or a horse.
The 20p, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I mean, we have always been very closely linked, but we probably have lost a little bit that link with modern life in the modern world. People are very busy, and we have developed probably an urbanized society, and that's no criticism. That's just the way all societies have gone and whatever. But I suppose this is the whole idea of bringing people back, reconnecting them with it. Being able to identify kind of. Especially trees and whatever, because they play such an important role in life. In life.
Yeah.
Like an oak tree, for instance, sustains about around 400 different organisms, plants, animals, and whatever. Whether it's kind of squirrels in them, or whether it's pine martens, or whether it's lichen, or whether it's the oak gall wasp laying its eggs, and they're very important for kind of I suppose nurturing life. An oak tree in its own right is which is very sacred in Irish folklore anyway. Is what you call it. It's a biodiversity hub in its own right. One oak tree, So
is there many of them still around?
This
area?
Well, there's a few around me. They would have been planted probably a long time ago, and whatever. You'll still see a few, and you see, there's quite, but not as much. But the problem here in Ireland is that while we have about 10% forestry cover, most of it is plantation forests and whatever. Whereas we only have maybe 1 to 2% of that old.
There's very little of the old Irish,
traditional oak, Irish oak, or Scots pine, which bizarrely by its name Scots pine, but Scots pine is a native Irish tree, or ash, and of course ash is suffering now from ash dieback.
My mate actually, my mate Andy, he's a tree surgeon, and he was telling me something like that.
Oh yeah, it's very bad. It hit our normal ash trees just growing anywhere. It's not just even forest, just ash trees growing along the side of the road or in a field or whatever. And then we have problem again with hawthorn has been hit by a thing called fire blight, and that also hits fruit trees as well. So like our nature is in trouble and whatever. So part of this is that maybe I suppose help people build that connection again, and obviously with kids how to build a connection, and also the other side with kids is they love being outdoors.
They love it, man.
They love, and just last week I had them, because the land is saturated. There was huge puddles everywhere. Like I'm talking like we've got them to start building a bridge across.
Nice.
Across. Well, then that's where you get the kind of resilience and that holistic thing about it. It's not just they have to think through how they're going to do this. What stick works in it and whatever. So. Bizarrely, they're probably learning a little bit of engineering. They're learning a little bit of physics, and which at 4, 5, 6, 7. This is when I was taught physics at school. there never seemed to be a practical reason why you would do something like that, you know, whatever. Whereas now you kind of, you know,
just remember physics being maths.
Yeah, this is where you kind of, you know, you build an arch, or, you know, like if you build an arch, you know, you have the center stone, and that works 2 forces each way, or whatever. But the same with when you're putting sticks on a bridge, like why do they stay up and others fall down? And you know, and the whole thing is as well, if it doesn't work, it's you know,
you're still learning.
They're not going to be marked out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go and do this again. You know what I mean? Let's try something else. And it's also a kind of child-led thing. You know, I last week I had you know, I have a children and parents course, and we were all building teepees, and then
I think I actually tried, but you said you were sold out for that, so stick me down for the next one.
That's no problem. They're building teepees, but after a while I noticed that some of the kids had just gathered around a small pond I'd made, and they were having great fun. Yeah, and it was the imagination, like, you know, a stick was a crocodile and another stick was a shark, and you know, they were having great, and like, these are a group of kids who, you know, are from like they're diverse in the sense of they never knew each other before.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's a funny thing with children. Once they start,
they go, they're just it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, they start messing around. So it's that kind of thing of getting them to use their imagination. There's one little chap I had, and every time he found a stick, he'd imagine it as a stick insect, and he had a great imagination like that. So it's just getting them out. Connecting them, getting them thinking, getting them, and also there's a physical element, like when they're out and about, they're running, they're walking, they're lifting things.
I think, like, especially now with everything, like with kids, and it's like games, TV, fucking screens, man, and just everywhere, like, you know what I mean. And I think doing that is so important. Like, get them out into nature. Nature heals you in every way possible.
It's you know, it's great for the physical and mental health. You know, and I just say, is like, I have hammocks up, and if somebody wants to kind of just say, you know, I'm a bit tired and whatever, you know, if you want to lie down and look, lie in the hammock, look up at, well, I was going to say look up at the, you won't be able to look up at the blue sky at the moment, but look up at this grey sky and raindrops falling in your But if you want to lie in a hammock and just take some time out and whatever, and relax and find your own space and whatever. And I say, maybe a big problem in life is not enough of us spend our times lying in hammocks, just chilling out for a little while. Man,
I like your style.
You know, just get away far from the madding crowd for a while, and just whatever. And, you know, then I you know, have books there for them as well. Like, you know, if they want to read, if someone there's a teepee there, a permanent teepee, they can just sit in there, and if they wanted to, but like, it's that kind of thing. Nobody is forced to do anything, and whatever. And then we kind of do stuff like, you know, there's an element of Forest School is that there's a controlled risk, because, you know, you let them, you know, because I do kind of risk benefit assessments on everything that we do. Okay, you just make sure that you cut down on, like, things are dangerous because people don't put safeguards in them first. Yeah. So, like, say around a fire, we go through the rules of being around a fire first.
Are you teaching them how to actually make a fire?
Teach them how to make a fire using fire steel, and you know, you start with a bit cotton wool and fire steel. And the thing with fire steel,
I'd say they'd be buzzing with that.
They'd say the kids love fires.
Yeah. I did myself. I nearly set my house on fire when I was younger.
I'm kind of one of those guys as well. Whatever. I used to always have a box of matches in my pocket. You know, when I was 4.
What is it with men and lads that we just love fire?
And it was those old red tip matches. That you know, they go off with whatever.
Petrol. As you got into teenagers, you went to petrol then as well. Jesus. But I won't tell you about them stories anyway.
But yeah, I better not. But the thing about fires, it's first of all, you teach them safety around the fires. You teach, you know, that you always keep, you know, buckets of water each side, so that you know, if the fire spreads, you know, you've got a way to put it out. You keep a fire blanket. You keep, you know, a first aid kit. Yes. With you know, balm if someone got a burn or whatever. So it's that thing first. So before you start, you know, you kind of go, let's put the safeguards in place, and then you can go and start lighting fires, because if you know, if
you have the things in place,
if you have the things in place, and then there's rules around the fire. Is there's only one person that's allowed to put wood in the fire, because if everybody starts starts putting stuff in the fire, it suddenly, you know, everybody's doing it at once and whatever. And whatever. And I also know is that you know when adults often say that phrase, "Will you throw a stick on the fire?" If you say that to a child will actually throw their stick on the fire
and themselves.
Yeah. So you have to be careful and say, "Don't." You know,
sure.
it's place to stick on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They will throw it and whatever. And then we have this thing called like you can't walk across if somebody calls you from the other side of the fire, you don't walk across the line of the fire. You walk around the outside of the circle of people, and you shout dragon if you see someone doing it. So it's kind of that self regulating thing where if someone sees someone walking across the whatever, they shout dragon.
Okay.
So it's
just to check you.
It's just to check you, so that everybody is aware. So it kind of and so then you've when that people can do stuff safely, then you introduce the lighting of fires and then you use fire steel, which you can use in the rain and whatever like that.
Okay.
And it's hard to get right first time, but once they get they're
I'd say they'd be absolutely buzzing with that.
Absolutely buzzing with it. And I was showing them this thing called a Dakota fire pit or a Dakota fire hole, where it's underground. You dig a hole about a foot down, but you dig a slanting kind of tunnel into it, so that brings the air into it. And the thing about the Dakota fire pit was that it was used in the Wild West and whatever, and it was that nobody could see the flame, and technically there's supposed to be no smoke of it, so nobody can see it. So it's a kind of covert fire. But I was showing them and I said, look, we'll do this. And no, do the fire now, do light it now. And of course I lit it and there was a whole plume of smoke come up. And one of the girls said, looks like you don't know everything, Ciarán. And she was only 4.
No. No way. No, not the children, man. They'll just put you in their place.
I had to say the honesty as ever. And I said, well, look, I'll have to go back to the drawing board with that one.
Where is you're based in Dunleer?
You're based in Dunleer.
Because I read a little bit of the article and saying did you get the land inherited?
Yeah, technically, you said you're from Morrisspice. Technically, I'm within the parish of Morrisspice.
Okay.
That's really now confusing all the listeners, because my address is Stonehouse Dunleer, hence the name.
Whereabouts is it?
It's not as the crow flies as you're heading down what used to be the main road when I was a kid, out to the or whatever it is now. It's just past the Valley Inn.
Just past the Valley Inn. Okay,
you go around a few of the bends there, and it's on the old coach road. I don't know if
old coach road. So past the Valley Inn, is it left or right?
It's right
up that road.
That's the Galston Road, and then you turn the first left off there, and you're onto the old coach road, which very hard for people to understand that at one stage in its life that used to be the main road between Drogheda, Dundalk, Dublin, and whatever. Whatever. So the old road in Morrisspice.
Yes.
It's a similar road to that.
Yeah.
It would have been connected to that road somewhere along the line. And that used to be the main road to Dublin at one stage. And
mad, isn't it?
Like, yeah. Because I have a map at home of Laird in the 1700s.
Oh wow.
And that was whatever. So I live up there. My family have lived there for generations, and I inherited land. I never really did anything with it,
right?
And whatever, and I never had any plans. I think I said in an article, like it's quite obvious that I'm not a farmer, and it was only a small bit of land.
Okay.
We used to try and farm it when I was kids.
There's obviously woods and stuff like that on the land.
Well, what happened was it wasn't originally. It was just farmland.
Okay.
And whatever. But I am a failed Christmas tree grower.
Right. Okay.
And I now have a wood on the land because I have all these Christmas trees that grew
massive.
No
way. Right. Okay.
Yeah. And whatever. So, and I had this, and over years, I'd be building things in it. Like I built a cabin in it and stuff like that, and whatever. And I used to spend so much time in the woods and
nice,
and whatever.
Man. Sounds like a dream.
And whatever, like Grizzly Adams, really. And I just needed a bear to keep me company. And whatever. So I used to I used to spend a lot of time there. And through my, but like, and I'd be doing different things, and I put up a tarpaulin, and I'd done some courses, I'd done some bushcraft stuff over the years, and things like that, and whatever. And I always had this interest in like whittling wood and doing things like that. And I had the tarpaulin and a table that I made, and some old chairs that had been thrown out of the house, and all this kind of. And I'm a bit of a hoarder. I used to collect all these things and bring them down to the forest, and I was setting up this kind of place down in the forest. And then when I was at work with the Irish Environmental Network, I put out a newsletter for them, and I received this notification about this course being run called run by a company called, or an organisation called Bridget's Garden, which is based in Galway. And they were doing the first ever Forest School leadership course in Ireland, and it's a QQI 6 or 7. I can't remember the whatever. So it's a recognised course. So I was putting it in for to send to all the other members. This is all the members of the IEN. Like there's about 40 members, member organisations that this course is on. If anybody's interested, I just thought, actually, I'm interested. I'm interested.
Yeah,
so I contacted Bridget's Garden. I don't have a teaching background myself. I did some kind of when the kids were young, football coaching and maybe a bit with the scouts and stuff like that. But I whatever. But they said that's enough to But as well as that, I'm involved in the environment and whatever. So I enrolled in the course and graduated, passed it, and they operate a place on the east coast of Ireland in Larch Hill in Canadian Gardens. It's kind of Kildare-Meath border, and we were taught there. Like there was a kind of weekends hands-on. It's a combination of a lot of reading stuff yourself, a lot of then there's the practicals you do every few weekends in Larch Hill, and so you kind of built up obviously built up the trained as a forest school leader, passed the course and whatever, and as part of the course though, you had to run a pilot forest school. So you couldn't. It just wasn't mark. So and this was the key thing. This was a real clincher for passing the course. So I kind of put out feelers, and a few people came and whatever.
You had to. Did you have to run the school from your own land?
From my own land. Okay.
And would they come and assess you?
Yeah, and you filled in forms and stuff like that, and you had to come out with your work program.
It's a good way of doing it, isn't it?
You had to do your risk benefit assessments.
Yeah,
you had to fill them in and what you were doing to safeguard the thing. You had to get your own insurance. You had to get Garda vetted, children first, first aid trained, and whatever. So it was serious stuff, and
it is a good way that they include it while you're doing the course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they know if you do launch that, it's it's legit. It's good.
So that's basically it. So I got some people. A neighbour of mine put some who is with the Girl Guides, I think, and whatever, and she put word around, and eventually got a core of people that were interested in being part of the pilot.
Nice.
So
how many people did you have?
Probably about 10 kids. 10
nice.
kids.
Is that what you do now? Is around
10, because just
any more than that is probably a bit.
Management. Adults would be different, but kids.
So could be running wild.
Yeah. So I had to do run wild. Whatever. The strap line on the thing is Shulair and Tav Fian, which is walking the wild side.
Oh right, okay.
So there is a bit of a wild side.
Nice.
Whatever. But that was great. And the thing was, that was a real learning. Where you're immersed in it and whatever. So you're trying things. And you're having to work out your program, what you're going to do. And there is a whole thing about there's a lot of thinking on the hoof, because sometimes you might kind of go, today we're going to today we're going to might see a bit lighting fires. You might find the kids aren't really that interested. Now it's very rare kids are not interested in lighting fires, but they might find that it's not. So you have to have other things to fall back on.
Okay, so you're right. I'm with you.
You know what I mean. So
you don't have to just go, no, we're doing this today. You
kind
of have to feel
no. They kind of go, no, whatever. And if they want to lie in hammocks, that's great.
Right, okay.
But there's only 3 hammocks and 10 kids, or whatever. So there is that kind of element. But then we kind of there's other things like knife work and whatever. Again, there's kind of You do lots of risk-benefit analysis. You don't do that on your first day with the kids because you want to kind of assess to see what kind of level they're at and whatever. And even with that, like what I do is, like, say, just to start peeling the stick, I'd actually just get introduce them to potato peelers first, so they did peel with that first, and there's a whole element of how to kind of use a knife properly. Is most people, when you hand a knife, is they sit with the knife right in front of them, paring down the front is. But that's you actually work to your side all the time.
Yeah, well, not onto your knee.
You want onto your arteries. So it's called. It's called the triangle of death. It's the arteries that run up from right to your groin and from both sides and whatever. And then you teach them things like, if you hold, you wouldn't have a knife, but say if you give them a stick, if you hold the stick out and go all the way around yourself, up over your head, out forward, to your left, to your right, and if anybody's within that radius or circumference of you, whatever, they're in your blood bubble and they're not supposed to be, because if you move your knife, so it's teaching them, teaching stuff like that. Again, it's safety around dangerous implements and knives and stuff like that. So it again, you just don't introduce them to kind of, and it's all in a controlled. So that's the kind of thing. There's a risk. It's risky play, but it's a controlled risky play. And whatever. So that's basically it. So I trained with Bridget's Garden, and then
so you launched the school then with the pilot, and then I did good reaction. And
I did a few kind of smaller ones afterwards just to make sure. You know what I mean? Because when the pilot was over, like, it was very easy just to leave it for a while. But I said, what I might do, I did something around Halloween. Like, I did the pilot around the summer, so I did a course around Halloween, and I did another course as well, just a smaller course, and they went well. So I said, look, I've gone this distance with it, I may as well
go for it.
Get up and running, and just go for it and organise some courses. So I was thinking that there was just one woman that was on that her son was on the course, said, did you ever try a parent and child course? Because a lot of them was with the children, because she said sometimes there are children who just don't want to be,
for sure,
and be away.
It's a good thing to do with your kid as well,
yeah, though. And look, that's and the parents are learning something as well, and they're spending time with the kid. Two and a half hours. With,
is that what it is? Yeah, so
2.5 hours out, or 2 hours or 2.5 hours out with your child. Working with them.
100%.
You're involved in their life, and nobody's got phones.
Yeah.
So nobody's checking the football scores or TikTok
or whatever it is.
Whatever it is. So everybody's working. Whatever. So there is that kind of it brings you closer to the kind of to people around you, whether it's your own kid or other adults or other kids and whatever, and then we take a break and have and the kids love.
Do you do any cooking or anything like that?
Yeah, well, there's always you always have the marshmallows.
Yeah.
You only have to say marshmallows. If you're going, hands up, But what I'll actually be doing the next week is what we call is bread on a stick.
Okay. Oh, toast.
Actually, you make the bread.
Oh,
you make. I'll be getting them. Well, providing that the weather, we haven't sunk under the deluge or anything by then.
Right.
But we make bread, so it's just kind of self-raising flour, water, maybe providing somebody nobody has allergies to seeds and stuff like that, and just to sweeten it up, just maybe put a little bit of maple syrup in it or whatever. You mix it all up, and you make it, and then you kind of make it into nearly like a sausage, and you cut it around the top of your stick, and you just roast it. You cook it over a fire, and it's nearly like pizza bread, if you know what I mean. But only that you make it into long kind of sausages, and you wrap it around the top of the stick, and you cook it over the fire.
Lovely.
And whatever. And again, you learn something about cooking. You learn something about putting stuff together.
Putting the ingredients together,
and all that kind of stuff. So like there's that whole side to it as well. One thing I haven't done yet, but I will be doing with kids in the future, is making ink. So making ink. Yeah, you can make ink from. Remember I said about the oak tree, and there's the oak gal wasp that lives in the oak tree. It lays its eggs on the bud of an oak tree, right?
Okay.
and this cocoon, which is called an oak gal, forms around the eggs.
Sorry, what was I missed that with the eggs of what?
Of an oak gal wasp.
An oak
gal wasp.
Oh, gal wasp.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
And it lays its eggs there, right? So it forms a cocoon. It doesn't do any. The two things live in harmony with each other. It doesn't do any damage to the tree at all. But it forms these round what are called gals, and eventually the larvae burrow themselves out of it and fly off as whatever. So you're left behind with this round or this little ball called an oak gal.
Okay.
If you collect, you only take a few of them because you don't want to be taking them all. It's like foraging. You don't take everything that's in front. So you take a few of those, you grind them down. At the same time, you put maybe a few, if you've got a few rusty nails or any little bit of rusty iron into vinegar. So you leave them for a few days. You strain them. You put them together with a little bit of stuff called Arabic gum, which is used by artists, and you have. Right, then you will have ink, right? And that's the ink, reputedly, that the Book of Kells was written with.
Wow.
And whatever, that's what the monks used to make. And then they colour it by using plants that they'd find, like the forest bush, the yellow dyes, or maybe elderberries, or that kind of way. So so I'm gonna try that anyway.
That'd be cool.
And whatever. So and then there's things we do like there's a little bit kind of artistic kind of side involved with it as well. Like what we do is we make charcoal sticks. So what you just do is that's like putting a hole in a tin, putting the sticks in, and putting it in a fire, and you see the dry out. You see the steam coming out the little hole, and the kids love seeing it. That's mine there, and whatever. Right. And then you let bring it out, let it cool down, open it up, and they've got charcoal sticks, and they go off and draw their own pictures with charcoal sticks.
Deadly, I'd say they love that. My little lad would love that. He's big into his art and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's so you're trying to bring a lot of elements into it. Like, there is the nature, and there is the recognition. There's this whole kind of thing of like where I am now, because I'm kind of returned the area to nature, just apart from the school. Like the school's only a small part, but there's a few acres of kind of where fields are kind of become very open.
Christmas trees?
No, these weren't Christmas trees. These are normal trees. But like it's just become overgrown, and but
kind of wilding it out a bit, like
it's wild and rewilding it,
nice.
and but it's a haven for wildlife now.
What kind of animals?
Trail cam shows. We have there's deer, there's badgers, there's foxes, there's pine marten.
Is the pine marten?
Pine marten, yeah. I never knew there were pine martens in the
No,
area.
I want the elusive pine marten.
This guy, elusive, but I don't whatever now. And the trail cam picked them up. Whoever walking.
That's class, because they're quite rare now.
Quite rare. They're making
over this side anyway.
Yeah, they're making it back, and it's helping the red squirrel.
Yeah, because they get the grey ones.
And whatever. So you've got all that, and then you've got different kind of birds. There's buzzards. There's you got your crows. You got your blackbirds.
There's plenty of deer around there as well, is there?
There's huge
loads amount of deer, isn't there?
Yeah, because there's other forests behind me that are commercial forests.
Is it close to the quarry?
Yeah.
So all that
area,
well.
And all that area is whatever. So there's deer. Actually, quite literally nearly run into them.
Wow.
And whatever. Whatever. But so you see all these, and then you kind of
for your adult one, would you ever do a bit of hunting? Bow and arrows, no?
We could make bow and arrows.
Will you teach me how to make a bow and arrow? Just when the apocalypse happens, you're ready to rock.
I'll teach you how to make a fire on the ground. It doesn't. Oh well, no, I was going to say that nobody'd see you because there'd be no smoke coming out. But, But obviously that didn't work for me last week. But anyway, whatever. But So, but like then you kind of go is how to spot where the animal was. So I mean, like deer, the deer droppings. But badgers are particularly clean animals, right? So badgers actually build their own toilets. Clean
animals.
Yeah, they build called latrines, right?
Okay.
And they dig a hole, and they will go to the same spot all the time. and whatever, and it's nowhere near their own set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. So yeah,
Little outhouse.
and whatever. Yeah, and you kind of go. So you'd be able to spot this, you know, because the badger keeps coming back there all the time until that gets full, and then to go off somewhere else to build a new one, and whatever. So like, and that's how you kind of go. You're bringing kids around and saying, look, we know a badger was here because this. We know a deer was here because this, and then obviously the deer eat bark off trees, so you kind of go, we know the deer come through here, whatever. And
have you seen any animals on in any of the classes or that yet? Or did
no,
you kind of
because
hide,
animals are smart.
They'd be staying away from all the noise.
Stay away from all the noise. Yeah,
kids going with fire and everything.
The only thing you might see is robins. Robins will always come around and take a look and see what everybody's up to. Nosy birds. Robins. You ever notice that once you start doing any kind of work in your garden? Always a few robins will come around and kind of go, nah, I wouldn't do it that way.
I know. I think the older you get as well, as I've seen a reel, is like you just become a bird watcher all
That's
of a sudden.
Yeah.
You're like looking at the garden. Like we got these things at Christmas that it sticks on the window like a bird feeder.
Right.
So they come right up and you can see it.
You see them
so my dad, I got one for my dad. Then my sister-in-law got one. Then my other sister got. So we're all just obsessed now with, like, you know what I mean. But they're really cool, I have to say. Yeah. It comes right up to the window and there's loads of birds.
Yeah,
man.
it's great.
Beautiful.
We have loads of birds.
Loads
and beautiful, like, you
really,
know,
really lovely colours on them.
Yeah, the finches are absolutely fantastic.
They're class.
Fantastic.
The one with red on his face.
The bullfinch, and just fantastic, you know. And their antics, you know. You watch them.
There's something very, very peaceful about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're just like,
And
we've plenty of birds of prey around as well, don't we?
Buzzards are
loads of
big
them,
thing, you know, and you know, I've seen them with their kill, like, you know what I mean, and whatever.
What would they be getting now?
Pigeon.
Would they?
Yeah, I took a pigeon out and whatever. Then another time I saw one just taken off with a rat and it's whatever, and it dropped it, and it waited. I could see it waiting till I left. Obviously, the rat wasn't going to get away.
Right, yeah. So did he drop it on purpose or by accident?
I think I frightened him.
You frightened him, right.
When he was taken off and he didn't expect, or I frightened him when he took off and he hadn't got a proper hold of the rat. But like, it's amazing when you see it in you know, that kind of nature in its like its raw sense, I suppose.
Real life,
like, you know, and so I've had trail cams up and I've been able to see the animals as well. So
nice.
You kind of know, you know, the animals are there, but also
I'd say that's fun, is it?
Oh yeah,
going through it all.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, you always notice, like, you know, when you go off on holidays and you know, the dog is put into his you know, it goes off to his kennel or whatever. As soon as everybody's gone, I'd leave the trail come up. Suddenly the badgers are around like near the house.
No
like,
way, just starting to get brave.
So particularly, because they know there's nobody going to be disturbing them. Particularly not a dog coming out or whatever. So that's they're all around us, and that part and parcel of you know, I call it you know, Stonehouse Nature Sanctuary, because I'm letting it go, you know, go wild and whatever it's the classic build it and they will come. Like, let it go wild and the animals will come. And if you don't disturb them, like, just the parts of it I just don't. There's only a few acres, but I don't traipse through the middle of of areas just whatever, because I don't disturb them. That way, and I'd say that to the children, you know. You know, there's the whole thing with Forest School is, when we're going there, is we look after ourselves, right? We make sure that we're safe, we're happy, we're confident, we're you know, as I say, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. So, you know, you look after yourself. You look after each other, because we're a community and we're all in this together in the school and whatever. And I said, fine, we look after nature, because we're only guests here.
Nice.
We're coming in and we'll be gone in a couple of hours. This is their home all the time.
Yeah. Good.
So, and then, like, you know, so therefore we look after nature, you know, if you do see a wild animal, don't go near it, whatever, particularly that might mean it's sick or it's wounded or something like that, because it wouldn't normally be out where there's humans around. And also a whole kind of leave no trace policy of, like, you know, we've got bins on the side, put your rubbish in bin and whatever, and we just leave our footprints and stuff, and then we then we go and it's theirs for the rest of the day.
Nice.
So yeah, I suppose and
it's going, like, it sounds like it's going great. So just so for the people to know, how how do people sign up, or like where, when's the next course coming?
Well, I'll be finished this one in March. I'm working on what you call it, on the next kind of set of them. So I'll probably be doing another child and parent one. It mightn't start till April, just because of timing and stuff like that, and whatever.
And it will be it's on Saturdays.
It's Sundays, usually child and parent one.
Oh,
or it can be done on Saturdays, or I do adult ones on a Saturday. I can mix and match those.
Okay.
See, I work full time, so
that's what I mean. You're a busy man, like.
But I'm hoping that, obviously, when the weather gets better, and the dates get longer, the hours going to change.
Yes.
So I'll do stuff after school, after work, after school.
Oh, right, okay.
And stuff like that.
Is your plan to go at this full time?
At some stage,
how it goes.
I'm looking. I'm turn into an old man, so I'll probably retire at some stage. And
you're not old.
I'd see myself retiring to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because,
nice.
and it's a great thing to retire to. In terms of booking, I have a website called StonehouseForestSchool.ie. If people go onto that, they'll see where I've got courses advertised.
Yeah.
But I'm also on kind of Facebook and Instagram. And I'm on Blue Sky, but I think there's not many people on Blue Sky.
What's Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, it's an alternative to Twitter or X or whatever. And I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't really do much stuff on LinkedIn and whatever. But like Facebook is
Facebook and
Stonehouse Forest School, and then my own, Ciarán Brennan.
And it's probably limited enough. So if you do have an interest, I'd say.
But I will try. And as I said, as the days get longer, there'll be more scope there. Hopefully, for to be able to do things. If it's a few hours, because it's a couple of hours. Say on a Saturday or Sunday. So like if you're like middle of summer, you're going to have be daylight till
10 o'clock,
10, 11 o'clock. So hopefully there'll be plenty of scope there. And that's the other side. Actually, the thing about Forest School is. It's immersive, but it's also been done over a period of time. So I run 6-week stints. So it's not just you go into the forest for an hour and that's it, and you never go back there ever again. So it's to build up that kind of I suppose rapport with the forest and nature and the activities and the bushcrafting skills and whatever. So it's usually done over 6 weeks. So that there's a repeat over after a week, so that you're kind of just getting to the real feel of being outside and in a forest and the outdoor life rather than a once off. So that's basically it.
Yeah, and is there? I see a few of these forest schools. So is that what is yours the same that's around the country? Yeah. So it's all the similar, is it? So I've seen a couple in Wicklow, I think.
Oh yeah.
Advertised, and I was wondering, is it the same?
It's the same thing. And
is it run? Would you say, with the same course that you did?
Yeah. Probably. I'm a member of the Irish Forest School Association, and there'll be a lot of people involved in the Irish Forest. Like they're all, because
it's definitely taken off, isn't it?
Yeah, they're all all the forest schools in Ireland are there. I'm the first one in Laird that's part of the Irish Forest School Association, but you have them like most counties have them now. I actually was just talking to a woman from she's originally from near Talonstown, but she lives in County Down, and she runs one in Down in Northern Ireland. So they're everywhere. And the hour you taken off.
Well, I just think with the way the modern times are, the more connected people are, the more disconnected people are at the same time.
Yeah, and it's good for because again, it's not a criticism of the school, but it doesn't suit every child to be stuck in a classroom. Whatever, whatever, but that's the model, and it's been the model for 100 years or more or whatever. And it's probably the best that you can do when
Yeah,
you're
with
dealing
what we have.
with huge numbers,
Yeah.
huge numbers of kids. But some kids that it doesn't mean that they don't have the ability. It's just that they work better in a different
environment.
In a different environment,
for sure.
And it's maybe to try and help that along as well, where kids might be finding it tough at school if they come here.
And have you had any of that kind of?
I've had, you'd find
Like any parents that might have said, "Oh, like he doesn't really get on in school well, but out here."
Yeah, and you
just
find his I said, God, that fella's very chatty. And say, but he doesn't talk.
No way, yeah.
Whatever. And
it's
whatever.
funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it is. It's just being. I think it is being in nature, being in the woods. It definitely does something
and
for.
And there's no pressure on you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
There's no
yeah.
pressure. No one's telling you have to do this. You know what I mean. If you don't do this, you're going to be in trouble or whatever. You know, the kind of way. It's
just
it's child led. It's
Yeah.
it's child centered and whatever. So look at it. I'm giving it a go anyway. I'm enjoying it. Which
this is one of the main things.
Which is good, And I always wanted to do something. With, I suppose, with the land and with nature and whatever. And this just as I say, this just came about.
Isn't it funny the way it came about for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't planted Christmas trees 30 years ago, I'd have no forest.
Yeah. That's mad, isn't it?
That's mad. Like where the forest is now. When I was a kid, we planted potatoes there.
Oh right, okay.
Wow. And at other times we had cattle there.
Yeah.
And whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like now it's a forest, and now it's completely different. It's a bit like
did you want to farm Christmas trees? Was that the original?
That was the original
plan. That was the
original plan. Well, it was a kind of a funny old one. There was a company selling the idea of you'd planted Christmas trees, keep them whatever, and they'd harvest them. But the company went bust, so I used to have to try and cut down the Christmas trees and sell them myself. But like there were about 2,000 trees on an acre, so there's only so much you can you could do yourself. And over the years, I sold them, whatever. But they weren't great Christmas trees. That was the problem. They were the kind of shedding Christmas trees.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
At the time when everybody was bringing in the non-shed Christmas trees.
Oh right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So I hadn't got.
It was definitely just meant to be.
I hadn't got a great product to start with. Whatever. I had no market. Yeah. I'm hoping the Forest School goes a bit better.
Yeah. Well, it seems to be.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Start off something with dodgy product and no market. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. What could go wrong? But look at it now.
Yeah, but see, that's it. So
that's mad,
it's like everything. Everything can be, and it's kind of, I suppose, a metaphor for life. We can all reinvent ourselves, and we can all do different things. And like you're doing podcasting now, you're coffee shop. You know what I mean? We're not set into doing the same thing again. So like the land has had many iterations. As I said, I planted potatoes we had potatoes in it when I was a kid. We had cattle on it. And whatever. Now it was a Christmas tree farm at one stage, and now it's a forest school.
Yeah.
And only that, like I said, a little pond there. Little pond is actually one of those old cast iron baths. It was that somebody had in the house that they're throwing out. It was used as a cattle drinker then when I was a kid.
Okay.
And whatever. And then I dug a hole and buried it, put it in and built a pond out of it. So there's something that had a few different lives in it. And it's still doing
little frogs and stuff in it.
Frogs and stuff, and that's the whole kind of thing. And it's a great thing as well. Like, I mean, I did that during the pilot with the kids. We built a pond, and the saying is like. We sometimes plant little saplings as well, like and I just say to them, like if you never do anything else again in your life, you've built a pond, you've helped build a pond, you've planted a tree, you've probably done more for the environment and and nature and biodiversity than most people will ever do in their life. So it's great that
it's really getting them into that as well, isn't it? And being conscious of it as well.
And that's a great thing about it. There's a small pond. If people even do it in their garden, you can only be a basin of water if you need be. But what that attracts, in terms of wildlife, especially like birds need something to drink, to wash, whatever. It attracts insects, so it attracts more birds than the frogs and whatever. So it's funny once you give it nature just that little bit of an edge, it will make a return.
The famous Jurassic Park quote: "What nature finds a way."
Yeah, nature finds a way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that is cool. So just wanted. So for adults, you're doing a course for adults. For what age kids?
I had on the ad six to 10 or whatever, but I've got kids that are 4.
Okay.
Whatever,
once they're kind of, you can
communicate
with them.
Particularly when they've got parents with them, I probably was, overcompensating there, but like when they've got the parents with them, like 4-year-old is fine, but it's great. It was the 4-year-old that said to me, Ciarán, you don't know everything. Whatever, so
God loves their teacher.
Whatever. So and I've got an ad at the moment, just maybe try and do something for teenagers. Now I know
I'd say that's a really good idea as well.
It's a good idea, but like when you're a teenager,
I know. But I'd say parents would nearly be pushing them out the road to go and do something. You know what I mean?
I had a couple of teenagers on the adult course, and they were great.
They were into it?
Yeah, into it. And so
that's good, man.
Yeah, and to say, look,
it's a really, really good thing that you're doing. I have to say,
and also like different kids. I had an interest in nature, but there was no outlet for it or whatever. And although I did hang out in the fields and stuff like that when I was a kid, like there's some kids that are just not into football. They're just not into sports, or they're not into.
Yeah, my little lad, he's not really into football or any of that. Like, but he loves the kind of nature, and he loves like art and stuff like that as well. He'd be well into it.
Kind of art, nature, a little bit of folklore, a little bit of storytelling, a little bit of the one thing I don't do, because I'm really bad at it, is I don't sing. Singing was a big part of Forest School.
Okay.
But I found that I didn't really have much of an audience. The kids would just look at me and kind of go, "Will that guy ever shut up?" And whatever. So yeah, but maybe I'll try and
bit of kumbaya.
Yeah, a bit of kumbaya. So that's basically it. So.
Yeah, I had something in my head there, and it's gonna. Food. So do you teach people how to maybe grow their own food or any of that kind of stuff?
I don't do growing your own food. What we would do now, I'm not a forager, so one of the things I say to people is don't touch mushrooms in the forest. In the forest, because I don't know enough between them.
Okay.
Whatever, but you will learn things like when we did the Forest School course, we did cooking on it, and things like the yellow forest bush, people call it gorse, or winds is what they call it in Ulster or whatever. That yellow flower, if you particularly in early summer, you get this lovely coconut smell off it.
Okay.
And whatever. Like we use that in cooking because it gives that, especially if you make a curry. And we made a curry where we're kind of trying to use as many natural ingredients and whatever. And you learn about things like obviously picking berries and stuff like that, making jams, making jam, and there's things like you get a lot of the plants that we consider weeds, like dandelions or nettles.
Yeah,
nettles are absolutely fantastic.
Superfood, aren't they?
Superfood.
Yeah,
and you can make the nettle pesto, especially if you get wild garlic grown as well.
Yeah, is there wild garlic out by you?
There is wild garlic.
Is there?
Yeah, yeah. And, plenty of nettles.
Plenty of nettles. Yeah. I've always wanted to taste nettle soup, and I've never been brave enough. Like I would not be brave. I'd eat it, but I've never actually just went to.
Yeah, basically just if you obviously pair of gloves and pull the nettles, but it's what blanched them, I think, in hot water, so that gets rid of the sting. And whatever. The other thing you can do from nettles is if you get nettles and basically hammer them out, take the pulpy bit out.
Okay.
Take the skin, let the skin dry. You can make rope or twine out of nettle skin.
No way.
And it's really strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did it years ago. My big problem is I'm not very good at plaiting.
Oh, right.
So so I can do the whole preparation bit, but yeah, I'm whatever. So but it's all there. It's all there in nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So when is the next course launching?
The next course
April.
Probably be April. Just due to the fact is that myself and my son are going to Prague
nice.
At the end of March.
Are you going over to football?
Well, what we're doing is we're flying. We're going to Amsterdam and we're getting the train down to Prague.
Lovely.
Whatever. We don't have tickets, so just
going over for the scan.
He's a big football fan.
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
Just said.
That's going to be amazing.
He helps me in the Forest School.
Okay, right. Okay,
so and whatever. So I said, look, we'll go. We'll just maybe we chill out. eat lots and what you call it, and maybe watch the match in a pub or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
So I won't be around for a weekend. I don't want to start something and then go missing and whatever. So I'm kind of saying is, and then there's a few other things in at work. I'm quite busy at the end, kind of day during March anyway. So again, just there's a few things like that that probably, but. If what you call it, if I do find opportunities to run something, maybe I will do it. Maybe if it's even kind of a once off kind of thing or whatever during March. But yeah,
because there definitely seems to be a lot of interest, and I do really think what you're doing is really, really good, and I think people need it more than ever now.
Yeah, well, I always say is.
Connecting back human beings, like we always feel a peace in nature. Do you know what I mean? It's healing. It just does wondrous things for us. So I think the more people can get out, the better. Like, how do you feel about all the like wind farms or the solar farms all popping up around that?
I'm you're caught between the need to have renewable energy and then is it the best use of land? And
because they're going up probably near around you.
There's none.
Not that the wind turbines. Is that not down by you know?
That's over more towards Kellystown.
Yeah.
So kind of won't be around us. So yeah, I've kind of I'm because I come from a kind of like where we need renewable energy and whatever, and also. Well, you don't want to destroy the countryside either. So it's kind of one of those where you're kind of going, way on one hand and way on the other hand and whatever. So yeah, it's a funny old one to kind of try and I suppose square that circle and see what works. I suppose.
I don't think people mind if we were getting cheaper electricity, but we don't.
The problem with electricity is it's all tied to the wholesale gas price, and that's so volatile and whatever. So I don't know how you strip that out. I don't know how you strip out having the renewables having their own kind of baseline price and whatever that reflects. But energy is not my.
I was just wondering because. Say that, like how the effect it does have on nature, you know what I mean? As in, like the wildlife.
The wildlife, there's different views in it. Some say, well, look, if because nobody goes up near them, nature, whatever. Then you kind of go like, well, what effect do they have on bird life? That kind of way and stuff like that. Because in terms of bird kill and stuff like that. So it again it's a very kind of complex area that. Of I suppose trying to find a balance, because the whole idea was years ago, just stick them in the old bogs or something like that. But that was the worst place for them because first of all it wasn't as windy in those areas, and secondly the bogs weren't the proper place for them. The sub base, you were into old boggy ground. So. There were mistakes made in the past, so I suppose it's trying to find
the right balance,
right, and not make the mistakes. It sounds like the bleeding obvious. Don't make the mistakes you made, but humans are very good at that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong this time? Well,
just it's sinking into the ground.
Yeah, if I keep banging my head against that wall,
I know.
It will change. It will. Yeah.
And so, do you have a class on this weekend?
I have a class on this weekend, and I'm hopefully doing the bread on the stick this weekend.
That's the plan.
Yeah. And maybe we might try and take.
Many weeks are you into this course now?
This will be my fourth week. This one.
Fourth one.
Because February's a short month. Two more after that. And fourth this week, and then this weekend. Yeah.
So it's you and your son. Do you both do the classes together? Or?
No. He's my helper.
Right.
He's my whatever. But he's like he's Garda Vetted and Children First as well. So it's just things like when I'm talking to the kids, he can set up something for me, like it's little fire pits or something like that. So it's just that extra pair of hands. He's great at it, and he's actually great with the kids. And he's 17 next week or whatever, or this week actually. Better not forget that one. Whatever. But like some of the young kids did really look up to a teenager. He's great with parents as well. Like he's a great talker. Great. He's a great fella for now.
You're not too bad yourself now. You're doing well.
Look at us. Started off. that's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, look, that's pretty much. I think we covered quite a good bit there. But yeah, I want to wish you the best of luck with everything. And the website is called
StonehouseForestSchool.ie.
And for people to go on and have a look there and check it out.
Yeah.
Because I could ask you a million questions about and how to do this, how to do IB scored, but I really commend you on what you're doing.
We will have you out.
Yeah, no, well, hopefully, yeah, sign me up. I'd love to go on out with my son Louis because yeah, look, I think it's a great thing that you're doing and people do check it out. I think it's probably only going to get bigger and bigger, this kind of. I think more people I think this area of, like, say, wellness, nature, it's just going to get more and more, I think.
And there's forest bathing and there's, and things like,
there's such a big scope of what you could do.
Yoga on beaches and stuff like that. Like, it's just that, just being outside, it is great. It's just great. It's great for the mental health, and also even just walking around in nature. It's good physically for you to,
it is.
It's a different kind of walk, if you know what I mean. When you're walking out in nature,
I always go up around there, Piperstown. You know that kind of walk around by the horses. That's the lovely walk around there.
Ran a race in it once.
Yeah, so did I. The Land of Legends.
Land of Legends.
No way, that was good crack, wasn't it?
It's kind of going, why am I doing a horse race?
Yeah. Did you fall into the puddle at the end? That was a good day.
That was a great race.
That was a great race. I really hope that they did that. They should have done it there again. It was brilliant, wasn't it?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It was really good, I have to say. That's a good memory. Yeah, just remember. So if any of them are listening, do it again. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because that was really cool.
It was a real workout.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. It wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't easy.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was so halfway through. I said, this place is for horses. Why am I?
But like through the whole woods, all that land down there is fantastic, isn't it?
It's great. But that was a fantastic race. That got me into kind of doing those adventure races. Actually, after that, it
would. Yeah,
I did a few. I did hell and backs, and then
I don't know one of them. That's good crack as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
and I did a thing called Hard as Oak and Derry, and I did some of the not the great
Hard as Oak. That's a good name.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah, and there was another one I did in. I can't remember. It's another one of them anyway. Adventure races and whatever. But it's great. Kind of getting a bit too. Tapped out for them now.
Well, look, you're working full time and you're running the school as well and saving nature, man. You're a busy man, but so Ciarán, thanks very much for coming in. I absolutely had a lovely chat with you there, and do sign me up and do check out his social medias, which it's the same Stonehouse
Forest School.
And all on social media. Yeah. Check him out, the website, and look, I would say. Everyone's going to love it, you know what I mean? Adults, kids, it just sounds brilliant, and the more we get into nature, the better you're going to feel.
You learn something and you have a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? That's it.
So thanks very much, Ciarán.
All right, thanks very much.
Right, take care, buddy. Thanking you.
Bye bye.
From that day we share cafe lattes. Ooh, cafe latte.